through these conversations, we are marching towards the Banking on Africa's future 10,000 points of light ideal. And the radio is just an accelerator towards building this community that we seek to build on a daily basis, such that at the end of the day, we have a community where, as individuals, we can. Leverage on each other's skills and expertise, and more importantly, exchange ideas and in as far as addressing the challenges that we face. And when you look at our communities, in as far as some of the challenges that we face, all too often we wait upon those who act in the name of government to be problem solvers. Yet, in each and every individual, they are actually a leader in their own right. And you happen, as an individual, you happen to be the driver of the change that you want to see. So, towards the 120 Responsible Citizen Challenge, joining me this morning, I happen to be joined by Angela James, as well as here deposit to the Banking on Africa's Future 10,000 Points of Lights. That is Liana Proost. Angela and Liana, wonderful morning to you, and thank you for joining us this morning on the 1873 FM.
Good morning, everybody. And yeah, good morning, Liana, and good morning to everybody again this morning. It's great to be here on a beautiful Friday morning. And I'm really excited to have Liana Proost with us she's from Sorbet. She's the HR manager or in charge of all of the staff elements of Sorbet and the incredible culture that's been built in Sorbet as an organization. So, Liana, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And we are also joined by Mr. Mutuma Mawere, the chairman of the 1873 network. Oh, good morning once again, Mr. Mawere.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Yes, I'm great. Thanks. And yourself?
Excellent.
Mawere.
Morning, Angela. Morning, Leanne.
Good morning. So we're carrying on with our conversations around responsible citizenship and rounding off each of the themes. Our theme this morning, and this is one of the reasons I'm so excited to have Liana with us, is #Choose2Serve. And when you focus on Sorbet as an organization, I know that the legacy that's been left in terms of the Sorbet culture by Ian Furr, who was the founder of Sorbet, is a culture of servant leadership. And that servant leadership doesn't only apply to leaders within the organization, it applies to everybody who's part of Sorbet. So, Liana, tell us a little bit about servant leadership and why that is so crucial today in terms of responsible citizenship.
Well, I think, for us, the reason why Sorbet has been so successful, in my opinion, and I think also for Ian, is that the company's got a culture that runs contrary to how most companies are managed in South Africa. It's extremely important for us to create an environment where people can really bring their best to work, in the sense that who you are at work and who you are at home shouldn't be different. You shouldn't be coming to work for a fearful, stressful, there's always stress, I guess, in a company, but for us, if the leaders are really focused not on being a manager, but being somebody who creates an environment for their teams that the team can really function well, it's been very, very good for us. There's a very flat, non-hierarchical system in Sorbet that really focuses on bringing the best out for people in their work environment.
Tell us a little bit more about what servant leadership is actually about.
Well, I think if you talk about servant leadership, it's just the concept that the leader is not there to be served by the team. The leader is there to really serve the team, if that makes any sense. So you are the enabler for these people to work in the best environment that they can.
And how does that impact then on the teams themselves? What's the differences? I mean, I'm sure you've worked in a very hierarchical structure where it's been about the leaders and the leaders' egos versus the kind of culture that you nurture within Sorbet. What's the difference in terms of how that it makes on the team themselves?
the thing that we speak about all the time with servant leadership is that it's people focused rather than bottom line focused. It's always important in a company to make money, else why would we have one? But it's how we get to that end result. So if you have happy staff, happy team members, they by default create that happy environment can feel when they come into our stores or when we're in the head office, and money flows from there. So servant leadership is about serving to get to the end result.
And how does that then translate into the customer experience, and not only customer experience, but the community experience from which the team members come? I also know that Sorbet does have its own CSI or corporate social investment arm as well. So tell us how servant leadership and that whole premise of being of service translates into the team members, their families, and the communities that they're a part of.
Sure, it's such a wide-ranging thing. I can tell you some stories. Maybe that'll be a little bit clearer across. Our teams, we've seen amazing things come out of this program where, out of their support, guests that our teams find out have cancer or getting married, where the team is totally out of own do little things for these people. We had a situation in one of our stores in Hyde Park. The team found out that one of their guests that always with them has got cancer, and they went to visit her at the hospital out of own accord. We've had big wedding celebrations with women ululating outside, inviting their guests in when they know there's a wedding coming. It's just such a beautiful thing to see. And also the impact that Sorbet had on female empowerment has been massive. We've got so many people that have joined us as nail techs, and because of our corporate CSI and how the company is run, they've come through from being cleaners in the businesses to highly qualified nail beauty therapists that can really support their families. And it's just been beautiful to watch it over the last 6 years that I've been with them.
I didn't realize you've been with them for so long. That's amazing. I have Sorbet when Sorbet was still a baby. It wasn't about the third or fourth year operating. I did some work for them, and meeting and working with people like Liana Proost were just incredible in terms of the difference in the philosophy and the culture. I mean, you talk about citizens. And implied in the word citizens for staff members is the fact that they belong to something and something bigger than themselves. It's not just about being an employee doing a job. And a lot of work has gone into defining what the Sorbet experience actually is for guests, for suppliers, through the whole value chain. So tell me, how many people does Sorbet now impact upon?
We employ roughly about 3,700 citizens in the stores. We've got 217 stores at the moment across 5 brands. And at the support office, we have roughly about 130 people here.
Wow, that's quite.
It's just an amazing success story in terms of how how organizations can be built and how organizations can be that place of nurturing for their people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's quite fascinating that the company employs more than 2,000 people. So, Liana, when you look at the term employee in itself, do you think does a shared understanding exist on what an employee is and what an employee is not?
We've got such a purposeful language in Sorbet, and there's a reason for it. We don't refer to Sorbet as a company. We always talk about it as a community. I think because it's also had such a massive impact on the families. You've got 2,700 employees, which is 97% women, and those women often touch the lives of their families when they're employed, and often they're responsible for more than the normal family. For us, we don't refer to them as to employees. We really talk about citizens in this community. So we try and move away. The example I can use, we always joke about it. On a normal income statement, once you've had your profits and your cost of sale, underneath you have your expenses, and that's where they typically put staff. They put it as an expense. We don't see that. Our staff are massive assets for us. And I think that's it's a very, very important distinction that, these are people. They're not things that sit in a company.
Yeah, very much so. And the culture of Sorbet is just amazing to be a part of. And kind of just bringing it back to the choosing to serve. Your business is also based on a franchise model. The consistency of the service experience in terms of how people are served, both in and outside of the organization, because again, you do a lot of work in the CSR space as an organization, as part of ESIC. How does that translate into, when you talk about the guest experience and being of service to others? So if I was walking into a Sorbet store for the first time, for example, what is the kind of service experience that I can expect? Because it is consistent across the stores. So a difficult business model to achieve, and yet you do it time and time again with every single store that gets opened. You have that consistency. How do you achieve that consistency?
Well, I think a lot of it sits in our training. I'm going to take you through the process right from the beginning. We have a very specific set of tools that we use when we interview the franchisees to see if they buy into that corporate culture. If it's somebody who's very entrepreneurial and money driven, we know we might have to do some extra work there, because you have to change the way you think about business totally. But once we've got them through the screening process, we put them through quite a rigorous training in store, and probably for the first month to 6 months, there's constant training at the support office, and part of that training is a lot of cultural conversations. And once that's done, the operational stuff is easy because it's systems that you're putting in place. But we keep on training on HR, servant leadership. We've got a beautiful training on critical conversations to help them cope with dealing with people in a totally different way.
Yeah.
And maybe Liane, when
it's possible to have putting people first, and the bottom line takes care of itself. I mean, it's one of the most successful businesses in South Africa today. And so what you've done as an organization is proven exactly that when we choose to be of service to those that are serving our customers, it's actually possible to build a very, very lucrative and very powerful business and brand, because service comes first.
Yeah, I always have a personal little giggle when I look at companies that don't work the way Sorbet does. Because for me, it's a logical process when you deal with people. If I make you happy and you're in an environment that you love, it's automatic that energy will pass on to the person that you're serving, which in our case are the guests that come into the stores. There's a beautiful study by Harvard Business School that I don't know if you guys are aware of it. I'm sure you are. It's called the Service Profit Chain Study, where they actually proved in businesses that are people-focused and focused on their staff, that there's a direct knock-on effect. If you just increase staff happiness by 5%, on average, the profit line increases by 20%, which was quite interesting.
How do you use,
okay. I think Mr. Mawere also had something that he wanted to jump in. Mr. Mawere, you can go ahead.
Okay, Liane, we have this radio platform. The only way we exist is the community. And the community must own the project, not only in terms of using it, because it's not sustainable, but how best do we get platforms like radio of value to maybe raise awareness of business models like Sobe, what you actually do, and so that we build radio as part of brand equity building, brand awareness building, cohesive communities, because we can talk about responsible citizenship. But unless we find models that are sustainable, then the voices will disappear daily. How best do you think we can be able to get ideas of responsible citizenship into practical effect using case studies like Sobe?
Mr. Moore, I think it starts with probably how we train and educate business leaders. You know, when they still, even at grassroots at universities, we've actually been part of a study with kids, which is part of the University of Pretoria, where they actually use Sorbet as a case study for their MBA students. And I think that's really important that, you know, we start talking about a different way of leadership. We're no longer in a world where autocratic, dictatorial models of leadership works. And people are steering away from that. If you look at the new generation that are coming in, they don't relate to that kind of leadership at all. So I can see it coming through the younger generations that we see coming into Sorbet and also in other businesses. And I think it's just there. We've got to start there, you know, in how we challenge ourselves to think about business. And you're right, if we can get sustainable models like Sorbet that people can actually go, you know what, this actually works, it'll slowly turn the tide. And I think there's also businesses now, there's much more of a focus on big businesses looking after social interaction. It's not just about the work that you do, it's also how you touch the community around that business.
And if you look at CSI investments, the impact the corporate sector is making to delivering the promise of life, do you think there's a shared understanding of the role of corporate institutions in building and capacitating and maybe striving towards inclusive a growth and community building? You think we share?
For me, and it's a personal point of view, it's clear that government is not going to help our communities the way it should. I think that's a reality. So we have to start talking differently about what can we do within our communities to really change the way we live and the way we work. You can't put all of that responsibility on a government, not anywhere in the world. And, you know, I think that's just where the conversation needs to be, is as business and even as communities and neighborhoods that live together, what do we do to build that community and to really create a space where South Africa can move into a different place?
And you know what, Liane, I can't even see you. I can only hear your voice in this digital age. And what you are saying is so profound. I'm not sure why Tinashe has denied the audience the right just to send you the link so that we see you. I can see Tinashe. And we want to build an inclusive society. When you say Facebook,
we need to be given time to cast out and to look beautiful.
No, I'm saying it, Liane, you knew you were going to be. And if we share a common purpose, because we give up time of radio, and we can't give it up for people who don't want to be shown, who don't want to see themselves, because we are trying to build a human community like what Sobe is. How do we continue to pile up in this digital age? Even Facebook is a book of faces. Our challenge is provoking, igniting, and inspiring people just to use their voices, just share what they do. You don't have to tell me how to be an active citizen or responsible citizen. My work shows it only. I don't do it to get accolades. I do it because I love to do what I do. There are people who solve problems, business people. Nobody calls them to solve the problem. They just do it anyway. How do we get this culture and use this radio platform so that we don't, and people just coming to talk about things without sharing what they do, showing their faces?
So what you're asking is how do we get this through to our communities in our personal capacity? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, that's right. How do we get this a sense of shared experiences, insights? I can just talk to you, Liane, not as Sobe, just as a human being. And I know you. If I meet you at a supermarket, I say, "Oh, I saw you on 1873 platform," and I don't have to meet you to have lunch with you because it's costly.
I think that for me, and I don't know, I'm going to kind of jump in here before. I just need to also check on your time and how much time you have left.
Yeah, we left with 4 minutes.
Okay, so I just want to kind of jump in here a little bit in the sense that, to build a community, Mr. Murray, and this is just my view, and it might not be right, it might not be wrong, I don't really know, but it's my view, is that one of the elements for people to engage in the kind of vision that you have is people do have to have some semblance or some level of learning embedded into them. And in a lot of instances, the kind of ideals that you're talking about, and it's not an ideal, it's a kind of worldview that you're talking about, a lot of people have been denied the opportunity to engage in learning that promotes that. So I don't believe currently, in the current status quo that we have within the country and the world, that this kind of service ethic that we're talking about, that's part of the radio station, part of Sorbet, is something that's inherent in individuals without us waking it up within them, using learning as the conduit to do that. Because we're not talking about a level playing field here at all. And that's part of our purpose, is to learning, to smooth out and to create or narrow the gap between those who know and those who don't. And I don't know, Liana, whether you'd like to comment on that from the kind of work that you do at Sorbet, taking a brand new person in as an employee and the difference that comes out when they've gone through the immersion into the Sorbet brand.
Yeah, I think education is a massive thing. And, what I just noticed in our community that we serve, we've got 95% women. What worries me a little bit is that people come from really, really tough socioeconomic backgrounds. And, when you're in that space, it takes a lot to find the energy to build community when you are completely stressed out and there's not enough finances to go around. And I think the best we can do is really to start in the homes, in how we take care of one another and take care of the communities around us, because that's where children learn. If there's enough care within a family and there's a schooling system that teaches that and reinforces it, and that's where it begins. So I also think it's an education thing.
And it's a culture thing as well. When you start to talk about culture within an organization or culture within a country, what you're talking about, Mr. Mawiri, is a beautiful culture of being of service to others. And it's something that we need to wake people, or that people need to awaken into. And I don't know necessarily that we can wake anybody up. And it does make it a little bit tougher for the people who are the visionaries and who can see that can be a reality, compared to when you get kind of try and ground it into people and they have their own experiences, their own viewpoints, their own beliefs, prejudices, all of those things. So it makes our work interesting and very, very challenging. And I wouldn't, like you, Mr. Mawiri, and I think with Liana too, we absolutely love what we do. And it's a privilege to touch human beings' lives and to make a difference.
Absolutely.
Well, on that note, I want to take this time and opportunity to actually thank Angela for nominating you, Liana, to the Banking on Africa's Future 10,000 Points of Light. this community that each day we are ideally marching towards. And as I deposit your name to the Banking on Africa's Future, I mean, as I deposit your name to the Banking on Africa's Future 10,000 Points of Light, I also look forward to deepening and broadening these conversations with you. How many names do you think that as Liana, you'll be able to add to this prestigious bank of ours?
Sure, I've got some amazing people that you can speak to. I'd love you to speak to Ian Fur. I think he would absolutely be brilliant for you guys to meet with. And then, yeah, there's another person that I can definitely send your way that is very well versed in actually hosting community conversations.
And your BOF ID number is BOAF 597.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Tinashe, just to finish off, if you don't mind, Liana, what I'd like to ask you is, what would you, if you had to think about the listeners that are on the show today, think about the South Africans that are out there in terms of hashtag choose to serve, what would your call to action to people in the country be at this time?
I think to really focus on humanity. We need that more than anything else. You know, every person that stands next to you, regardless of creed, color, age, is a human. And we need to connect there first.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Thank you so much, and thank you for your time. And we thank you for the opportunity again, yet again this morning, to engage in a very, very powerful conversation. So thank you so much.
Well,
thanks very much.
Thank you, Angela, and thank you, Liana, for your time, and thank you, Mr. Maweri, once again. And
thank you, Mr. Maweri.
Yes. Look forward to more of these conversations. On that note, let's quickly go on a short break. Keep it locked on your channel of choice, the 1873 FM, your voice, your power.
What wears green rides on golden wings at loftier heights than the ninth deck of silver-lined clouds, deep in the azure blue of ancient skies. Then returning to its nest, descends gracefully to delicately alight in the din of applause on land where the earliest humans first saw the light of day.